Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on the SBC recently released Flashback Toni Kroos. We're going to be going through the card, its details, stats, clips and summary. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below if you're going to be doing this SBC. And without further ado, let's get into the review. So guys, this is the team that I use Toni Kroos in. Now, I played him in the 4-2-3-1 at the defensive midfielder position. I didn't try him at the cam spot. I didn't feel like he would be agile enough for that. But overall, guys, my first impressions of this card is pretty decent, actually, guys. I really did enjoy using it, especially in the vein of how I think you're supposed to use Toni Kroos, especially as a deep line playmaker and someone who conducts the tempo of your team and the ball in general. But without further ado, let's get into the review. Toni Kroos, 6 foot tall, medium work rates, right footed, 3-star skill moves and 5-star weak foot. So guys, for you skillers out there, one skill move may be short of being usable. Medium work rate isn't too bad considering he is a bit of a box-to-box player. He can defend on this card and attack as well. And the right-footed, left-footed, 5-star weak foot doesn't really make a difference there because of that 5-star weak foot. It's fantastic to have that as well. 4 games played, 4 goals scored and 2 assists. Now guys, he did score a couple of bangers for me. You will see that in some of the clips. The other 2 penalties, and he's a very good playmaker. Now, he didn't get the most assists in my team, but he created a lot of chances, especially with his passing, and that was something that was really phenomenal to have in my team. In terms of player details, guys, now I put a couple of different chemistry styles on him. First of all, I put the Shadow on him, then I tried the Guardian on him, and I think, guys, the Guardian's not the right one for him because it doesn't boost his agility enough, but I do think something in that vein of boosting his agility and dribbling a little more to help him out would really be useful on this card. Getting into the key stats, guys. Now, of course, the key stats on Toni Kroos: 97 short pass, 97 long pass, fantastic ball control, 94 ball control, shot power 98 as well, long shots 94, and you guys are going to see a couple of those long shots as well. Of course, fantastic stamina, especially for medium work rates. So overall, guys, this is a very good playmaker card. All of his passing stats are phenomenal. His shooting stats are pretty decent, other than that finishing, which I wish would do a little higher, but his 93 composure does help him out a lot with that. In terms of the cons, guys, now, his sprint speed and acceleration isn't so much of a con. I did find that it would have been helpful to have just maybe a couple more in each of those categories, but I think overall I wouldn't put this down as a con. But in general, if we are going to pick stuff out about this card, I would say that's something I'd love to improve. The big con about this card, guys, as I previously mentioned, is the agility of this card. I do feel like that needs to be boosted a lot. He does feel very stiff on the ball if you do not give him that little bit of extra dribbling, especially on his agility. Now, you can see with the Guardian, it adds to his balance, general dribbling and ball control, and that's good enough, guys. But if you really want the best out of this card, I think boosting the agility will really help the most. Of course, his defending stats are pretty weak, especially for a defensive midfielder. If you were to play him as a central midfielder, I think he would struggle a little bit with the pace, given how much slower he is than some of these central midfielders. So I think boosting his tackling and defending is another key part of this card. You guys can see that he goes to 93 stand tackle when you boost it with a Guardian as well. So that was something I really wanted to put in because he is a defensive midfielder in my team. In terms of player traits, he's got the 3 Kroos traits that I would love to have: the long passer, the long shot taker, and the playmakers. All fantastic traits to have in this Toni Kroos card. Overall, guys, I just thought this card was really great in terms of just being able to do that playmaker role, that deep conductor, and controlling the tempo of the game for me. Now that we've gone through all of that, we're going to get into some of the SBC requirements you need to do to get your hands on him. So guys, to get your hands on this Toni Kroos card, you need to do 3 SBCs for this card. The first one is a 60k squad for the Bundesliga team. Now guys, all of these squads I believe have informed players in them. We will just check that just now. That one does as well, and this one does as well. So all of these squads have informed players, which is a bit of an annoyance. It would have been nice to have a bit of a cheaper player, but of course, guys, I think this player is great value. Overall, 60k for this first one, 109k for this second one, 84 rated squad with an informed player, 75 chemistry, 80 chemistry on the first one, and then an informed player, 85 rated squad with 70 chemistry. So guys, again, you are going to have to link in players which are quite expensive because the chemistry requirements are quite high. Please do use Footbin or FootWiz or something like that, which gives you all the solutions that you need to do for that, because generally people come up with the cheapest solutions in there. Overall, guys, I do think that this third squad is very expensive, but I think when you're looking at the overall price, the 352 on the PlayStation, 354 on the Xbox, and 397 on the PC, I think this SBC is really well priced, especially for what you get. You're not getting a player who's perfect at everything, but you are getting a player who is very good at what he is very good at. And I know that may sound cliche, but he's very good at shooting, he's very good at passing, and he's just very good in general at conducting that gameplay, and that's really what you're paying for this card. Whether that is worth it, we will discuss it at the end of this video in the final summary. But overall, guys, I think this SBC isn't priced too badly given what you're getting out of this card. Now that we've gone through all of that, we're going to get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into some of Toni Kroos's clips, and what you guys are going to see here is just his overall capability in that passing department, as well as his ability to just play generally quite well with the ball, defend quite well as well. You guys will see a number of defensive clips, and that was really something that I was pleasantly surprised about, guys, was he was able to get involved defensively, and because of his medium work rates, he was able to play in all parts of the game, whether that's defending, passing, or shooting, of course, as well. Now guys, what I would say is that this card is very expensive, and for what you get for this card, you have to consider whether you're willing to pay that much for what is essentially a passing player. Now, if you look at the other types of players who you can get in this position, like the Florian Neuhaus, who actually is better at defending than this Toni Kroos, you could be looking at a card which is obviously much cheaper and much better. However, what Toni Kroos does give you is that level above of passing, and that's really what you have to consider is, do you want that passing to be that level? I mean, look at that ball there. It's just a lovely dinked ball into that midfield. He plays that pass over and over again for me, and I was so impressed with this passing that he was able to pull off. And it's very good. It's like the flashback, the end of an era Wayne Rooney, where he has fantastic passing as well, but this card was just able to put it on a different level of precision. Overall, guys, that was something that I really did enjoy about it. His dribbling does feel very stuck in the mud, guys. Now, although I was able to create chances with his dribbling and move around reasonably well with him, I did feel like overall I would really love an agility boost to this card, and maybe that would be something that would help his dribbling a lot, of course. But overall, guys, that would really be the only weakness that I would pick out of this card. I think because of his medium work rates, he neither overcommits on defense or attack, so his pace isn't actually that much of an issue for me. You guys can see here again the dribbling, that really it's very basic dribbling to create these chances, and you have to do that all the time with this Toni Kroos, you will struggle. Overall, guys, the pace wasn't an issue because of his work rates, and I felt like he did hold his position very well and was able to create a number of chances for his teammates just because he was in the right place at the right time, making the right pass with the right weight on it as well. Now, the final thing I want to get onto, guys, is his shooting. His shooting is fantastic, guys, and overall, I think when you're getting into that 30-yard range where you can start to finesse those or just hit them with a lot of power, this Toni Kroos card has the capability to do that. He has very accurate and precise shots, and that's something that's really nice to have as well in your defensive midfielder or your playmaker that's running in between next to your bigger midfielder who's doing more of the defending. This Toni Kroos is able to transition with the ball really well and finish chances where they give him too much space. Now, guys, that leads me on to the final point I want to discuss about this card, which is the space. You need a lot of space with this card to be able to operate well, I think. He operates best, of course, when you have that good passing space around him and allow him to have the freedom to just create and move with the ball, and that's really where I thought he got the best results. But overall, guys, I wouldn't say that it's an issue that if you don't manage to create space with him, it's just much easier to use this card. We're going to get into some of the goals now, guys. The 2 penalties you see here, and now the 2 goals that I scored with him, almost photocopies of each other, how he finishes this off. I mean, look at that power and finesse into the far corner. In this final one here, you're going to see the exact same. How's this for a hit into the back of the net? So, guys, getting into this final Toni Kroos summary: 352 on the PlayStation, 354 on the Xbox One, 397 on the PC, as previously mentioned. Now, guys, I do think his key stats here, of course, are his passing stats. His overall shooting stats from distance are pretty good as well, and most of his dribbling stats are okay. Again, though, guys, I do think watch out for that agility. That's something you really need to be careful of, especially in terms of boosting that and giving him the best chance on and off the ball. For that reason, guys, I would say that looking at something which focuses on that agility would really help. Now, guys, if you wanted your player to be more of a transitional forward and maybe even play him at the cam spot, I don't know how good he would be, then you could put the finisher chemistry style on him. That would really help him out there in that regard, and it would boost his agility, his balance, his dribbling, of course, and give him all the elite finishing stats that you need to be able to finish chances regularly with him. There's a number of ways to go with this card, though, guys. If you did want to play more of a defensive player, you could give that passing a little bit of a boost, or even, as you guys can see, the Gladiator, what that does to most of his stats there, and brings his dribbling up there. Although I still think the agility is the key one to boost in this case, guys. I would consider looking at that the most. In terms of similar players, guys, we've got this Sandro Tonali here. I actually think he's very similar to this Florian Neuhaus. Very capable in terms of all of the departments. I think Neuhaus is obviously a better defender, but this Kroos is leaps and bounds ahead of him in terms of passing and shooting. I do think that what Neuhaus lacks, especially in a transition midfielder with that shooting and just elite passing, Toni Kroos has that. So a maybe more expensive version of this card. Very good card nonetheless, though. getting into the link ability, guys. Now, of course, we don't have any perfect links, but if we look at the strong links here, guys, what you will see is Sergio Ramos, Karim Benzema, all the German icons and icon moments cards, Casemiro's cards, Eden Hazard, all of these players coming up as well. You'll have a bunch of players, Rafael Varane, of course, as well, to link him into and fit him into your squads. And to be honest, guys, if you put a nice player next to him, like, say, a Casemiro, not specifically that one because he does lack a bit of pace, but if you put someone with a bit more pace to cover him in that midfield, I think you'll have yourself a really nice tandem to work with in that center of the park. Finally, guys, getting to my final recommendation. And before we do that, we always do look at this price now. And if we go to this here, we can see that Toni Kroos is the top of the La Liga CAM, CM, and CDM spot. He's 352 in terms of the PlayStation price there. So we look at the next most expensive midfielder, which is Casemiro's inform at 137k. Following that, I think David Silva is the next one. If we just reorganize this by price, now you can see that Nabil Fekir, Francis Coquelin, of course, coming in there as well. What this Toni Kroos offers is really, and it really is down to this, guys, is he offers elite passing. So if you're willing to pay for that elite passing and you think that that's the way to go in terms of your team, then this card is leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else. However, guys, I would say that if you're looking to build a more balanced team, a more capable team, and a more pacey team, a more meta team in general, this Toni Kroos really is overpriced in terms of the La Liga players. I think you can go out and get yourself a Frankie de Jong who will do you a reasonable job as well in that midfield and will offer you the same amount of output in terms of just general play. Not obviously to the same level, but I think that this Toni Kroos is incredibly highly priced for the La Liga players, but he is a fantastic player, guys, a fantastic technician, and I think that's something really to be considered heavily in how the game is progressing. You need more and more accuracy with your players as more and better players are released, so I do think this Toni Kroos does hold a place somewhere in the game. In terms of the overall players that he stacks up against, guys, now you guys can see here, he is down by the base Michael Ballack, Gennaro Gattuso, Rui Costa, Dennis Bergkamp. Now I happen to think that this Toni Kroos is better than all of these. If you look just slightly above here, you have Bastian Schweinsteiger. That's more the level that you're playing at. Schweinsteiger, of course, a fantastic defender. Now, I'm not saying that Toni Kroos is anywhere near that in terms of defensive capability, but in terms of overall output and quality, I do not think this Toni Kroos is far off Bastian Schweinsteiger. I do think Schweinsteiger is a fantastic player, but Toni Kroos can more than hold his own in any midfield. By the same token, guys, you have players like Raja Nainggolan and Wilfred Ndidi who are cheaper and, in my opinion, better at certain aspects of the game, certainly physicality wise. I think Toni Kroos lacks a lot, so that's something to bear in mind as well, that you can build yourself into a different team or a different league by going with these other players that are more suited to a specific role, especially in where you're playing formations like a 3-5-2, a 5-3-2, or just 4-2-3-1 as I play as well. Toni Kroos is not, of course, a defensive midfielder. If you're playing a 4-4-2, he could be decent, but he's not a defensive midfielder. He doesn't traditionally fit in the attacking midfielder spot either, so you do have to bear that in mind as well. Which brings me back to my final recommendation on this card, guys. Guys, I think this card's fantastic. I am glad I've done it. I do think he will somehow fit into my team, or certainly be on that bench when I need to control the game, control the tempo, maybe bring the game a little more to my opponent if I'm down. I will be bringing this guy on to try and influence the game, to control the game, and bring things down to my speed, or put them up to my speed if I need to as well. That passing range is phenomenal, and having that means that you just have the ability to be more unpredictable in your gameplay as well. So I do think this card is worth it as far as Flashback SBCs go. Very good card, and it's a fantastic card, guys. That's all I can say. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button, and until next time, I will see you all in a bit.